Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of the Pigskin Bank. I'm gonna be straight up. A lot of you guys are used to seeing me and Lou here, and much respect to Lou. I don't know, things didn't work out. But I am back due to demand from a lot of you guys in the DM. So I appreciate you all for convincing me to put my breakdowns back out there for the NFL and for constantly supporting me, supporting Lou, supporting everyone. It means a lot to us. You guys are what keep us going for these shows, and it means a lot. One person I do want to shout out is Fight Talk. He's the one that made the graphic for this show. So shout out to him. Really quality work and really easy to work with. So shout out to my man Fight Talk. He's the best, and he's also one of those people that convinced me to start this show back up. So really excited to bring these breakdowns back to you. It's if you guys are familiar with my 1 minute breakdowns show, it's going to be similar in a sense, but definitely more analysis. Whenever there's a game that I don't really have a bet on, I'm just going to pass. But if you guys have questions about it or what I think, I will definitely be happy to answer it in the comments. So feel free to leave your bets, your predictions, or just overall thoughts on games in the chat, and I'll get to every single one. But yeah, this is the new format. Shout out to Higher Destiny first person in the chat. Thank you so much for joining in, my guy. But first game of the week, I'm gonna be looking this way a lot because I have my second screen up with all the odds, and I'll probably get to making graphics at some point. But first game of the week, we have the Colts and Patriots in Germany. Early game. Spread is -1 for the Colts, and then the over/under is set at 43. I'm overall just passing on this game. I don't really like anything when it comes to the spread, the totals, props. I think it's an ugly game, and I think the line indicates that. Too many question marks surrounding the Patriots and their motivation. I think the team is slowly crumbling, and if they lose this game, I think Bill Belichick might get fired, as crazy as that sounds. And there's a lot of inner turmoil. This is probably Mac Jones's last game. If he loses, he'll probably get benched. So who knows? But yeah, I'm staying away from this Colts Patriots game. I'm not trying to get invested in it at all. There's the man that made the graphic. My guy Fight Talk. Shout out to you, man. Shout out for this amazing graphic. I appreciate you for the thumbnail. It's sick. Now, Lou definitely bring the entertainment when it comes to this show. For sure, for sure. I won't be able to provide as much of that, but I'll do my best. Next up, we have the Texans and the Bengals. Uh, the Bengals are at home here. They're 6.5 point favorites. The over/under is set at 47. Now, what I'm taking from this game, I think the Bengals are starting to pick up later in the season as they usually do. They look crazy right now. Now the biggest issue is that Jamar Chase is questionable, and all of their props are pretty much off. You can't see any of the receiving props, receptions. It's rough. If Jamar Chase is in, I will be taking the Bengals first half team total in this spot, as long as it's 13.5. If it's over 13.5, then I probably won't take it. Like a 14.5, I don't think is safe in this spot. I do think the Texans are motivated, especially behind CJ Stroud, who's having a killer year as a rookie. So if Chase is out, I'm also looking towards Mixon receptions. But again, we don't have that information right now just because they pulled all of the receptions and receiving yards props off. So yeah, you can't really look into much besides that on the Bengals side. And I'm not too interested in betting anything on the Texans side because CJ Stroud has been distributing the ball pretty well to a bunch of different guys. I mean, primarily it's Tank Dell, but we have seen those games where Tank Dell only gets targeted 3 times and everyone else gets the lion's share. So I'm staying away from the Texans props. Next, we have the Packers and the Steelers. Another ugly game. The Packers and the Steelers, the total is set to 39 here, and the Steelers are home favorites here at 3.5. I always like backing the Steelers here at home, but yeah, I think the 3.5 is a good look against the Packers. I mean, Jordan Love is just very bad, very very bad. I'm not I'm not looking to back him anymore this season. Now, I would probably buy the half point and take it at 3 personally, but what I like more in this spot is Warren over 2.5 receptions. He's hit this in every single game this season except for one, which was versus the Rams. And the Packers just allow 82% completion rate when it comes to running back position receptions. It's 44 out of 54 this season, and I don't think that changes here. I think the Packers probably get off the ball pretty quick with 3 and outs. Just the Steelers' defense has been up and ready, and I think this is a very important game for them, just due to the divisional matchup, which we'll break down soon between the Ravens and the Browns. So this game could spell well for them if the Ravens win and then the Steelers win. That means Steelers will be second in the division here, taking a lead, making them a little bit closer to that wild card spot too. So I do think a lot of people here are on the Steelers too, but I just think it's a very straightforward spot. But again, I'm personally looking at that over 2.5 receptions for Jalen Warren. I know it's a little juiced at minus 150 here on Bet Online, but I think it hits. I just can't say more than that. So short and simple there. Bengals should win, definitely. What's good? I know. Long time. 2 minutes. For those that didn't know, we did the 1 minute breakdowns for the UFC 295 tomorrow. We did it right before the show. So if you missed that, be sure to check it out. This GM scares me. Everyone, their mother's on the Steelers. Yeah, I mean, and the Steelers aren't the most reliable team offensively, but I think this is a spot where you got to take the home favorite. Packers just have not looked good all year. There you go. Yeah, I mean, Houston's been playing really good ball, but Bengals are just on a different level at the moment. So I don't know. I wouldn't be comfortable with it. I agree. This is going to be a really interesting game. Yeah, that too. I just think that all signs spell towards a motivated Steelers team at home when all of the stakes are up in the air here. Next up, we have the Titans at the Buccaneers. The Titans are +1 road underdogs. The over/under set at 39.5. It is the battle of the White Boy Super Bowl here. Levis versus Baker Mayfield. Tennessee, we know them. I actually both of these teams have been prone to the deep ball. That's the first thing that popped into my head here. I didn't like the spread at all or the totals. I'll throw that out there just to start off this breakdown. But Tennessee has been prone to the deep ball, allowing multiple 20-plus yard receptions every single week this season, except for 2 weeks. Steelers in week 1 and the Bengals. So I'm looking towards Mike Evans' longest reception, over 25.5 yards. I think that hits at a pretty high clip here, given the secondary struggles for Tennessee. And on the other hand, you look at the Buccaneers, same thing goes for them. They allow the deep ball of 20-plus yards at a higher clip than Tennessee, which is crazy to even think of it, with exception to 2 games as well. So I'm looking at Hopkins' longest reception over 23.5 yards, or just his over 62.5 receiving total. I think both of those props are good. Those are the only 2 props I'm looking at in this game. Other than that, I do favor the Titans in this spot. Just the Buccaneers have been on the down and down, even though that their division is still, I'd like to say, wide open. But yeah, give me those 2 props for the longest receptions for both Hopkins and Evans, and I think we hit them both here. Probably parlay them. Next up, we have the Browns and the Ravens divisional matchup. Not gonna have much on this game. I think it's gonna be close. Ravens have looked dominant as of late, but I just cannot lay this number against a solid Browns defense. Right now, the Ravens are 6.5 point favorites, I believe. Yeah, still 6.5 point favorites. Over under set to 38. I think it's a defensive game. I think it's a close game that I think the Ravens do end up winning here at home, but I cannot lay 6.5 in a divisional. It's just too close of a game in my opinion. But yeah, Ravens have looked fantastic over the past couple weeks, so can't fade them either. But yeah, give me the Ravens. I think they're a solid teaser piece. Next up, we have the Niners at the Jaguars. Niners are 2.5 point favorites in this spot. Just moved to three, actually. The over under set to 45. I'm personally buying the hook and taking the Niners at -2.5 off of a bye week with a bolstered defensive line with Chase Young. I think they're going to be able to really wake up and get motivated for this game, especially after all of their injuries have been healed. All of the injury concerns are gone. Debo is back. McCaffrey's back at 100%. Kittle's at 100%. And then, really importantly, it's Trent Williams, one of the best offensive linemen in the week, is back. In the league is back. I don't want to touch props just because the Niners tend to distribute this game, distribute like the passing game and the rushing game across multiple different players. So no prop looks for me in that game, but I do like the Niners -2.5 buying that hook. So yeah, I just don't think Trevor Lawrence is ready for this defense. Next up, we have the Vikings at the Saints. Sorry, Saints at the Vikings. The Saints are 3 point favorites in this spot, which confuses me. Over under set to 40.5. A lot of people are going to be on the Vikings +3 after last week. A lot of people are going to be on it. It's a very public site. It's already shaded at -120 and juice to the Vikings here. And if I were to play it, I would probably buy the half just to take it at 3.5, but that would be too much juice for me. And a very weird game in my opinion, but I found a really good prop look here. When you look at the rushing yards that the Saints have allowed to quarterbacks, it's up there against quarterbacks that actually tend to rush. So, reading it here, Lawrence ran all over him for 59. Badgett last week ran over him for 70. Love for 39. Bryce Young for 34. And I'm looking at Joshua Dobbs, who is also a quarterback that tends to run out of the pocket. His rushing prop is over 29.5 rushing yards. And I think that spells well here in this spot against the Saints, where I do think the Saints do bring some pressure here and get him out of the pocket. And if this game tends to play close or if the Saints are up late, you're going to see Dobbs rushing. And I do think he's going to have a lot more designed runs this week implemented, just especially with that he's more coordinated with the team and that he's had that extra week of reps and practice overall with the Vikings receiving core. I know Justin Jefferson, I believe, is back this game as well. So look for him to throw a little bit more too. But yeah, I like the over 29.5 rushing yards for Joshua Dobbs. I do think the Vikings keep this close and cover their spread as well. Next game, we have the Falcons and the Cardinals. We really have this game at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock Pacific. But yeah, the Cardinals and the Falcons. Falcons are 1.5 point favorites here on the road in Arizona with the over-under set to 43.5. Oh, baby. This is a very ugly game, as I mentioned. Apparently, the Falcons are calling this their Super Bowl, quote unquote. Take that for what it's worth. I'm passing here. I think both teams are horrible. The Falcons finally got rid of him. Taylor Heineke's playing, but I don't think he's playing any better at this point. I do think the Falcons run away with it. But we also have Kyler Murray making his debut this season. We don't know how he looks like. The new Call of Duty just got released, I believe, and we know his record the week after the new Call of Duty game is released. So staying away. I think it's going to be a funny game to watch. A lot of memes. Let's check out the chat here. Gotta play. Gus Edwards' touchdown is cool, but you just never know with this Browns defense. They held up well again on the goal line. Mark Andrews' receptions is good. Yeah. But the Browns cover tight ends well. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. I know you're a big Washington fan, but he was bound to get out of there. Him and Sweat, honestly, deserve better. I could say the same for all of the New York Giants players. We suck. Both of us. Both of our teams suck. It's funny that we're both in the same division, too. Yes, sir. Dobbs rushing. That's one of my favorite plays this week. Taysom Hill anytime touchdown. Yeah, I can't shy away from the rushing yards for Taysom Hill, but touchdown a little bit trickier, just due to the sheer amount of snaps that he gets. It's mainly just 9 when it comes to the rushing. So I don't know. Yeah, Kyle Pitts needs to be traded. Give that man a new home. Someone that can actually throw the ball to him. My guy, thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. Man, yeah, Chase Young would have been nice for the Steelers too. God, Chase Young on the Steelers? That would be unfair. That would be unfair. I mean, it's already unfair with the Niners too, but similar. I appreciate y'all interacting in the chat. It means a lot. On to the next one. We have the Lions at the Chargers. The Lions are 3-point favorites in this spot. The over-under set to 48.5. The Lions are off of a much-needed bye week, recovering from all of the injuries that they've had over the course of the season with their offensive line, defensive line. Corners were decimated for the Lions. And then, most importantly, David Montgomery, who is back this week on the field. But it didn't look like they missed him the past 2 weeks just because of the resurgence of Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, that man is a talent. And now that they've unlocked him, I feel like it's going to be a two-headed monster in this backfield. It's going to be tough to play any of their props just due to that, but I think it provides much more versatility and much more dynamic offense for the Lions here against the Chargers defense that has looked decent in the past couple weeks, but it was against the Jets last week, who we know their offense is just struggling this year mightily. And it's Zach Wilson, for God's sake. Let's not overblow it here. I think the Lions are a much better defensive team coming off of the bye week and going up against the Chargers on a short week as well. Played Monday night against the Jets. It just doesn't spell well for them. I would rather take the money line with the Lions at minus 155 here rather than buying the half point and taking it at minus 125 here at minus 2.5. So yeah, give me Lions money line in this spot. And the Chargers don't really tend to cover tight ends well. So when you look at it, I mean, Travis Kelce, who is the best tight end in the league, he ran and caught all over them, 198 yards allowed against the Chiefs in tight ends. I do think Laporta has a good game here. Over 4.5 receptions. It's definitely going to be on my short list for props when it comes to the afternoon slate. But other than that, I was thinking about the Amon-Ra St. Brown over 85.5 yards receiving, but I don't know him. He also was struggling with a little bit of an injury before the bye week. He is playing this game, but it's one of those lingering injuries with his hamstring that keeps popping up, and I feel like that's going to limit him. So I'm gonna stay away from Amon-Ra. But yeah, I like the Lions money line. I like Laporta over 4.5 receptions. They keep going to that man, and he's racking in more and more targets each game. Last game he had 11 targets, caught 8 of them. So I think 4.5 is a generous number. Yeah, he definitely needs some games to get warmed up. I'm sure. Like it's tough to get adjusted to a new team, and that was his first start. So I'll cut him some slack. I do think the Falcons win that game, but it's just the Falcons. It is the Falcons. Tomlin loves that kid too. He told him during this draft, I'll never draft high enough. Yeah, shame. Yes, sir, we're seeing eye to eye here. Slam Laporta, baby. It's Sam Laporta season. Next up, we have the Commanders going up against the Seahawks. The Seahawks are 6-point favorites in this spot at home, and the total is set to 44.5. I do tend to lean towards the over here, but I'm not betting it over 44.5 just because of the volatility with both of these offenses. The Commanders' offense is very hit or miss, and so is the Seahawks. You never know which game they show up and which game they tend to just flop. But I do think the Seahawks cover, especially at home. I like the first half team total over 13.5. I believe that's what it's going to be set at. I don't have that line yet, but that's what I'm looking at in this game. I don't like any of the props because similar to the Niners, the Seahawks tend to distribute the ball well. Other than Kenneth Walker getting his rushing yards, that's the only thing I like in terms of props. Sam Howell interception is always live, or if you just want to take a bigger dog shot, you take on Witherspoon interception. Let me see what that number is because I actually didn't check that. Witherspoon has been a menace this season as a rookie for the Seahawks, and that kid can ball. Let me see if they have his solo interception prop up. Pass interceptions. Well, Sam Howell over half an interception is minus 154. But if we're looking at interceptions for each player individually, if we're looking at Devon Witherspoon, it's plus 575, and I really wouldn't mind playing that at all. Tariq Woolen is also at plus 550. So both those guys I would take shots on. See y'all when that cashes. Let's see. The Washington Redskins. The Commanders. Oh, that team. The Washington football team is how we'll be calling them from now on. Yeah, if it was in Washington, I would definitely be taking the +6 there if it was the same line. But in Seattle, I feel like it makes it that much more difficult. Yeah, Walker touchdown is always live. We have a game that I won't talk about much here. The Giants against the Cowboys. Do we really have to say much? I think the Cowboys win. Not a hot take. I'm taking Cowboys first half team total, no matter what the line is. They are going to score 50 on us in the first half, probably. I would not be surprised. They'll score 100 in the whole game. I wouldn't be surprised. We suck. Our whole team is decimated. We have no quarterback. The third string quarterback, Tommy DeVito, who also is a little injured, is starting. Most of the offensive line is gone, injured. Evan Neal's gone. Andrew Thomas gone. It's a freaking mess with the Giants. But yeah, give me Cowboys first half team total over everything. Give me the Cowboys defensive touchdown or special teams touchdown. Yeah. They're probably going to sub out their players at halftime. God damn. Cowboys spread is crazy, and it's still going to hit. Not high enough. I think Cowboys should be 30-point favorites. No joke. No joke. It's such a big mismatch. It's horrible. I mean, even the -10 at halftime is pretty safe in my books. It is wide. Like, I mean, it's very rare that we see a spread this large in the NFL, but there's a reason. We have nobody playing. Nobody. I'm sorry to break it to you, and it's not a hot take again, but the Cowboys are not losing to the Giants this week. As much as I would love that, because me and my brother, who is a Patriots fan, we have a bet that whoever ends up with the better record at the end of the season wins $100. And right now we have the same record and we're both ass. So I hope this is not the game that the Patriots win in Germany and we lose, and this is just a defining moment of this bet. Yeah, Giants are a mess. First half team total is what I'm going with for sure. That's my bet of the week. Next up, primetime, we have the Jets against the Jets against the Raiders, not the Broncos. I'm passing on this game overall. Multiple reasons. I mean, Jets are 1-point favorites. Might as well be a money line pick 'em. And then the over/under set at 36.5. I think it's an ugly game. I do think this Raiders side is more motivated with the new coach on the sidelines at home against a struggling Jets offense. I think the Raiders win this game. I might have to degen a same game parlay with like Raiders money line, Josh Jacobs touchdown, and Devontae Adams receiving yards or something along those lines. But in terms of an actual bet, I don't have any for this game. I just think it's going to be a meme fest for Sunday night. But yeah, that's the game where we can relax. Last but not least, we have the Buffalo Bills and the Broncos. Bills are at home here. They're 7.5-point favorites. Over under set to 46.5. And I think this is the spot where the Bills get right, even though the Broncos are coming off of back-to-back wins here against the Chiefs. They looked decent, and not decent. They looked really well defensively. Bunch of turnovers against Mahomes, 3 in the first half alone. Mahomes apparently was sick in that game, and I don't know how much stock to put into it. But Bills at home after a really, really bad loss last week to the Bengals. They needed that one. They can't afford to lose more games because right now they're pretty much at a almost 50-50 chance of making the playoffs. I don't think they're going to take this game lightly. I think they come out early and often and score on the Broncos. I think the first half team total here over 13.5 is good. One of my favorite spots of the week. I think Bills as a money line parlay piece or as a teaser piece, also good. Coming off of a long rest this week spells well for them on Monday night. And Broncos, they're still bad, even after that nice win against the Chiefs and the Packers back to back. I just think this is the spot where they come back to earth and struggle on the road here in Buffalo. So give me the Bills. It's not a hot take, but Bills first half team total is going to be one of my larger bets for this week. Really excited for this one on Monday night. Should be fun. Raiders' new head coach Antonio Pierce. Yeah, he definitely has them motivated. They're getting up for this man, and the locker room, everything coming up from the Raiders side is just positive. Ever since the head coaching change, it looked like everyone wanted McDaniels out of there, and finally got what they wanted. And look at what they did last game. They smashed the Giants, but it's the Giants. Yeah, yeah. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Even if it, if Mahomes wasn't sick and it was just the Broncos showing up, I don't think they do it here in Buffalo, especially with what's at stake here for Buffalo. What do you think about Martavis Bryant signing with Dallas? I don't know if he was better than AB. Come on. He was not better than AB. But yeah, I think they're signing him for depth. He could be a nice piece. It's kind of similar to when they signed what's his name? I'm drawing a blank here. But they're signing him for depth more than anything. He could be one of those sneaky receivers that can get like a 30, 40-yard reception and go out for the rest of the game like nothing else happened. Bills defense not playing well. Chargers though are only charging up. Give me LA. Wait, are we talking about the same game? Chargers are going up against the Lions, and the Bills are going up against the Broncos. Need some coffee? I'm messing around. Yeah, he was definitely longer and taller, but AB was the man. But also, AB used to get double covered. So let's not forget that. If it was single coverage, AB was cooking everyone. He was the best receiver, him and Odell. And in that time, it was him and Odell. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think of the show, what you guys take away from this, and hopefully it's enough for what you guys were asking for. I really enjoyed making the show and uh, digging deep like I always do with all the research and delivering some content as always. But if you have any questions at all, feel free to DM me, shoot me a message on Instagram or wherever, and I'll always get back to y'all. But until next week, I will see y'all later. We will cash this Sunday. Peace out. Let's make some money.